Hi, welcome to my channel, The Magic of Math. Today, our lesson is on getting radical with rational exponents. Today, you, the student, will find nth roots. You'll evaluate expressions with rational exponents. The question I want you thinking about today as I go through the lesson is how can you write and evaluate an nth root of a number? So again, building on what you previously have learned. So let's go over some vocabulary. Let's talk about the nth root of a. So we have a radical sign. We have a radical. So here is our radical sign. You may have referred to this up until now as a square root sign, but today you'll learn that it's not just square roots. And then we have a degree, that's that n, and we have the a, which is a radicand. And what I want you to connect today is the relationship between the radicand and the degree with what you already know about powers. So base and exponent, making a power, and how it also can be written as a radical if it's a rational exponent. So here we go. This is a power, has a base a, and an exponent of 1 over n, making it rational. Up until now, you've been dealing with integer exponents. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a rational exponent because it's not a whole number or their opposites, they're integers. It is a fraction. So we have our power, base, and a rational exponent, and it can be written in radical form, where a is the radicand and n is the index. So it tells you the nth root. If n is quote unquote invisible, there's no number written there, that means it's 2. So a lot of times in math, we talk about the invisible 1. There's no 1 here. You wouldn't find a first root. It's going to be a second. The nth root would be 2 or higher, okay? And it's always a whole number. So that radical, that index, will not be negative. It will be a whole number greater than 1. If there's no number written there, then that's what you know is the square root. So radicals written as powers. So here is the square root of x. Again, the index is 2. It's just not written. That is equivalent to the power x to the 1/2. So you may or may not have seen this previously, but this power x to the 1/2, this is what we call a rational exponent, and it's equivalent to the square root of x. So the index here is 2, and the radicand is x underneath the radical sign, making this a radical. This is a power. They are equivalent. So again, here it would look, you could write the 2, but you're not going to see that. Here's a cube root. We have the cube root of x, which is equivalent to the power x to the 1/3. Again, this is what we call a rational exponent. So x to the 1/3, this power is equivalent to the cube root of x. Here we have the cube root of x to the 4th. So watch carefully because it's equivalent to this power. Notice the index to the radical is the denominator. Up here, it was the cube root of x was x to the 1/3. So here is our 1/3, but we have an exponent here of 4. So that's our numerator. So think about this as x to the 4th times 1/3, becoming x to the 4/3. So your numerator stays as the exponent. Your denominator is your index. So sometimes you'll be asked how many roots does a radical have? Okay, if you're asked to evaluate, you don't need to take this into consideration, but if you're asked to find the roots, you do. So hopefully you've learned when you found square roots that there are 2 roots. So for example, the square root of 4 could be 2 or -2. So positive, -2. Hopefully you've seen that. So we're going to talk about how the number of roots is impacted by the values of n. So when n is an integer greater than 1, which is what you're going to see here, and a is any real number, that becomes very important. We'll talk about that further in the lesson. If n is odd, so if your index is odd, meaning 3, 5, 7, then there is only one real root. So if this is odd, if your index is odd, you can only have one real root. So here's an example. Cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of negative 8 is negative 2, because negative 8 could be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. This could be written as negative 8 to the 1/3, which is negative 2 cubed. Right here, negative 8 is negative 2 cubed. 3 times 1/3 is 1. So our power to a power rule. Negative 2 cubed, exponent 1/3, power to a power, is equivalent to negative 2. If n, our index, is greater than 0 and even, then there are two real roots. So if you had the square root of 4, you could have positive and negative 2. Again, if you're asked to evaluate, you do not need to consider this. You only need to consider this if you're asked how many roots there are. So remember that 2 squared is equal to 2, but negative 2 squared is also 4. 2 squared, 4. Negative 2 squared is 4. So therefore, there are two real roots, 2 and negative 2. Positive and negative 2. That's what this symbol means. It could be positive 2 or negative 2. Here's another one. If a is 0, then there is one real root, which is 0. Okay? 0 to any index is 0. Well, any greater than 1. Okay? You're not going to see an index here of 0. You're not going to find the 0 root of something. That's has no meaning to it. So n has to be greater than 1. So the square root of 0 is 0. The cube root of 0 is 0. So if n is even and a is less than 0, so if this is negative and this is even, there are no real roots. So this is what we call an imaginary number. Now in Algebra 1, all we do is introduce that there are imaginary numbers. We don't work with imaginary numbers in Algebra 1. You'll do this further in high school. So you should have seen this in probably about grade 8. It's a Venn diagram of real numbers, where you had to discern whether or not it was irrational or rational. So all rational numbers and irrational numbers are under the subset of real numbers. Then if it's rational, it could also be categorized as an integer, as a whole number, or as a counting number. Sometimes you call these natural numbers. So we know about these real numbers. Now we know that imaginary numbers exist. All I ask my Algebra 1 students to do is tell me that it's not a real number, okay? But know that there's this whole other set of numbers called complex numbers, and real numbers are in there, and there's also imaginary numbers. So we built on this, right? You started with your counting numbers. You eventually were introduced to irrational numbers, which aren't rational, but they're real. Now I'm going to tell you that imaginary numbers exist. They're not real, but they're part of complex numbers that you'll be exposed to in Algebra 2. So when you, for all intents and purposes, if that happens where n is even, so you're asked to find the square root or the fourth root of a negative number, you're going to answer not a real number. So here we go. I would like you to write these in radical form, an index of 3, and a radicand of negative 27, and then find the roots. Pause, come back and hit play when you're ready. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. So we have a radical that's the cube root of negative 27. my index of 3, my radicand of negative 27. So when I go to evaluate this, I know that negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 27. So therefore, the cube root of that is negative 3. Your turn. Please write this in radical form and find the roots. Welcome back. So in fourth root of 16, my index is 4, my radicand is 16. So 2 to the fourth is 16. So the fourth root of 2 to the fourth is 2. So think about that. There's 4 2's in 16. 16 can be written 2 times 2 times 2. So the fourth root of 16 is 2. But it could also be negative 2 because I was asked to find the roots. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is also positive 16. So therefore, I have a possibility of 2 roots here, positive and negative 2. This is another way of looking at that. We could write this as an exponent. Remember that index can be an exponent of 1/4 with a base of 16. It could also be written 2 to the fourth, and you're finding the fourth root. So think about this. 2 to the fourth is equivalent to 16. So 2 to the fourth, power to a power, 4 times 1/4 is 4/4 or 1. We could also put negative 2 as our base in there, and ending up with negative 2, 4 to the fourth, 4/4, which is 1. Tongue twister. Okay, your turn. Evaluate. Now again, I'm not asking you to find out the roots. I just want you to evaluate. There's nothing here saying find the number of roots. So you're just going to evaluate and consider what numbers are there. If it's negative, that tells you that it could be negative. Okay, here's a negative sign. So again, you're not finding the number of roots. You're just evaluating for one solution. Go ahead and pause. Come back and hit play when you're ready to check your work. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. So for the cube root of negative 8, it's negative 2, because negative 8 is negative 2 in parentheses cubed. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. I'm going to jump over to this one. The cube root of 8 is 2, but because this is outside, think of this as a negative 1 times the cube root of 8. So that means that the solution here is negative 2. 16 to the 1/4. 16 can be written as 2 to the fourth. Power to a power. 4 times 1/4 is 1, so it's 2. Over here, we have an even index. If we wrote this as a radical, it would be the fourth root, and this is negative. So our answer is not a real number, because you cannot find the fourth root of a negative number. Another form of rational exponents is a to the m over n, meaning m is something other than 1. So where m is an integer other than 1, n cannot be 0 because that's undefined, and a is any real number. We can say that this is a to the exponent 1 over n, power to a power, so times m. So again, this is going to be our index, and this will be our exponent. So we could write it, the nth root of a to a power to an exponent of m. The denominator becomes your index of the radical, and the numerator is the exponent of the power. So now let's practice this one, 27 to the 2/3. So the first thing we want to do is separate this out. 2 times 1/3 is 2/3. So now I can clearly see that I have my index to my radical. So it's going to be the cube root of 27 all squared. So we're going to take this radical, simplify it, and then square our answer. So the cube root of 27 is 3. 27 is 3 cubed. The cube root of that is 3. Then 3 squared is 9. Your turn. Please pause, come back and hit play when you're ready to check your work. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. So 16 to the 3/4 can be written as 16 to the 1/4 cubed. 16 is our radicand, to make our index 4 from this 1/4. The fourth root of 16 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. Let's try 27 to the 4/3. We're going to write this as 27 to the 1/3 raised to an exponent of 4. Write it as a radical. Cube root of 27, which is 3. 3 cubed is 27, so the cube root is 3. 3 to the 4th is 81. That's our lesson today on radicals. I hope you learned something. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up and register for our notifications to get more videos and notify when I upload more. Have a great day.